You have to appreciate that in the beginning there was COBOL. Okay, and maybe they would say in the beginning there was Fortran, but okay, and for the EDP, electronic data processing people, beginning there was COBOL, and COBOL had a database task group, and they had defined something called DBTG, database task group, DBTG, and it was a database model for how to access data, and it competed with IBM's product, which was IMS. And it was a network data model, and IMS was a hierarchical data model. And there were these wars between network hierarchical, and off in left field were these relational guys who said, "You guys are completely wrong. It's crazy to have such a procedural way of poking around through data. You don't get very much data independence. You don't get very much leverage. It's hard to write programs. You should be programming in set theory." Okay? Yeah. You laugh, right? That's what everybody else did. They laughed. But that's fundamentally what Ted was saying. Ted Codd was saying. He said, it is much, much simpler to express the problems you're trying to solve in set theory than it is in DL1 or DBTG. Both express the information and express the manipulation. And everybody said, well, that may be true, but it'll be too inefficient, and computers are expensive, and you can't waste computers. And these problems are huge. I mean, we're talking about thousands or tens of thousands of records, and you can't just use. I mean, literally. I mean, this you've got to appreciate. This was the time of whole disks were 10 megabytes. So it was a perfect research project. The challenge is, could you make it efficient? Could you make it competitive? What if the trade-offs were different? What if people were expensive and computers were cheap? Then would what would and so, well, now 30, 40 years later, it's obvious. God was right. Okay? But he wasn't right at the time. He's just right now.